Hey, shalom, shalom. I want to say all praises be to Abanawa, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harakakodash. Double honor to the apostles, was a quantum of great millstone rule well. Shalom to the sincere brethren. I came out there across the four winds, four corners of the globe, pushing the truth, the good news of Yahweh Shai, proclaiming salvation to the elect of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are proclaiming the downfall of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and his wicked empire. So it's going to be another World War III update. As many of you may know, there's a so-called ceasefire between Iran, Israel, US, and supposed to be Lebanon too, but hey, all type of shit happening where Israel attacking Lebanon still, where Iran saying, yo, you breaking the ceasefire, we're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. But nonetheless, the so-called ceasefire on the way, of which many in the media are saying, and Iran themselves are saying this is a win for Iran, man, basically. Because now Iran has a chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, and they can open and close at will. And also Trump tackled out, man. Trump always chicken out. He was supposed to destroy Iran yesterday at about 8 p.m. Eastern, man. He was supposed to end their civilization, but what? He chickened out and agreed to this ceasefire nonetheless, man. But ultimately, all of this ceasefire, the peace accords, these different accords, we know ultimately, the ultimate judgment upon the nations is for them to destroy one another, and in the midst of that, for Yahweh Shai to return and destroy them. So we know ultimately the peace will not stand. Yeah, it might stand for a couple months, a year or two, whatever. But nonetheless, we know war is coming. War and more war is coming to the Middle East, man. But we still have to understand the chip has to drop. Famine of the world, Jacob trouble. All of these things have to come full-fledged before the war of Armageddon goes full-fledged. But we just understand this whole happenings with Iran, Israel, and the US is a step towards World War III and the War of Armageddon, nonetheless. But this book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, can. And Iran was preparing for this moment for years, and which brothers been speaking about this. And even people in the secular world been speaking about the US and Israel attacking Iran for years, man. But ultimately, what speaks about it first? The scriptures. Scriptures say what the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock being what? The state of Israel is going to draw America into the world, into a war in the Middle East. The war of Armageddon with Iran, man, which this is phase 2, phase 1, phase 2. Nonetheless, stepping into the next phase, man, which Lord's will, the next phase be the last phase. But nonetheless, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, can't. So the heathen nations belongs in the spirit of war, building up your military, being on high alert for the time when you have to clash, which we saw one stage of that happening as we speak, with this conflict between Iran, Israel, and the US, and even Lebanon up in there, man. Basically, the whole region engulfed in war, because you have Abu Dhabi, the UAE, which is what Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. All of these nations, Oman, are involved in one way or another in this conflict. They've been getting hit up, man, bombs, so on and so forth, within this conflict, man. Showing you that what? This is the time of war, especially over there over there in the so-called Middle East, which is the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, the great valley of the Lord's judgment. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. And that was my point I wanted to get in this chapter. Let the weak say I'm strong. Because with this ceasefire, Iran is declaring victory, man. Basically, they're saying, yo, America had to call for a ceasefire, man, because shit ain't going their way, which is a beautiful thing. Because this is the weak saying I'm strong, because Iran is looked at as a weak nation compared to Babylon the Great America, man. Even Trump kept on saying, yo, we decimated them, we obliterated them. But they still fired all type of missiles. They still have the Strait of Hormuz in a headlock. And you didn't do the ground invasion as of right now, man. So are you really Is America really as powerful as she thinks she is? Man. The Lord have America in a trick bag, man, because ultimately the Lord's will is to bring America down, man. Her and her military to bring her down. Because notice they didn't, as of right now, which I thought they was gonna do. To be honest with you, I was speaking to conversations back and forth with different brothers, elder brothers, even so. I thought they was gonna do some type of military incursion, ground military incursion. But as of right now, they haven't done that. That don't mean it's still on the table, man, because this whole ceasefire thing is supposed to be 2 weeks. You understand? And we know what Thessalonians say, when they shall promise peace and safety and then sudden destruction. So we can see. But nonetheless, the US still have tens of thousands of troops over there in the Middle East, man. You understand? So a ground incursion of some type could still happen over there in Iran, further setting the stage for the war of Armageddon. Like you Benjamins like to say, Armageddon. You understand? But nonetheless, this whole peace thing, hey, don't let this be a discouragement to you, man. As nonetheless, we know the chip has to still mandatory Jacob shovel. Really, we know we soon. Really, in that time, we're not even going to be able to post videos like this, man. The truth is going to be basically doors of mercy is going to be closed, man. And the truth is going to be if you didn't get it, if you didn't sit there early, it's not going to be mainstream no more, man. There's going to be persecution, so on and so forth. So you understand these things must still come to pass before this phase, World War III, over there in the Valley of Yahweh Shaphat, reach the boiling point, man. So we're not surprised by this so-called peace accords whatsoever, man. You understand? Because we understand these things still work towards the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in due season and in due order. But nonetheless, let the weak say I'm strong, because this is a victory for Iran. It's like I said, they're controlling the strait. The regime is still there. You know what I mean? And hey, the US had to agree to some type of peace, man. So as of right now, so to speak. So that's the weak saying I'm strong. So this is a victory for Iran as of right now. But we understand ultimately the victory is gonna belong onto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because all these heathens going down. The Iranians, so-called white man, the Chinese. The victory belongs to the Israelites via Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. You know what I mean? Via Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So don't mind the peace, man. Don't let this peace accords fake you up, because you have to understand the prophecies, you know what I mean, for yourself, that chip still has to come mandatory, Jacob shovel. Hey, in that time we're not gonna be able to make these videos and post it online, man. You understand? So that's to show you we still have some prophecies to come full-fledged. So don't expect the nuclear missiles to fly, man, as of tomorrow, next week. No, because we still have these prophecies. But nonetheless, you expect these things to intensify. But it might ebbs and flow, same way. Like some peace might come, but we understand that peace is limited, man. Because we understand World War III ultimately has to come between Iran, Russia, China, and Babylon the Great, man. NATO, all these countries, man. So you have to reach that boiling point where shit kick off for real, man. A world war. That's why it's named a world war. Because the Valley of Yahweh Shaphat is the main epicenter for the ground battle, but there's gonna be a world war, man. It's gonna be Russia involved, China, North Korea, all these different countries, NATO, and the EU gonna be involved, man. Militarily involved, man. Ultimately to the point where it's like, yo, fuck it, we pressing the buttons. Ezekiel tell you that what? The kings of these different nations shall what? Think an evil thought, man. And hey, Trump was kind of thinking that evil thought. What the hell you think he mean by end of civilization, man? basically, probably nuke them, man. Nuke Iran, man. That's probably what's crossing his mind, man. He said we're gonna end the Iranian civilization, man. And that's what's gonna come to in these last days and times. These different countries with nukes, they're gonna think to what? End the civilizations. The Russians, Chinese are gonna think, yo, let's end the American civilization, man. America gonna think, let's end the Chinese civilization, the Russian civilization, the North Korean civilization, man. That's what's gonna make these different kings of the earth shoot off these missiles, man. You understand? That's what Ezekiel said. They're gonna think an evil thought, man. Because they're gonna want to do it, man, but the Lord is gonna put it in their spirit to do it, man. Because let the Lord's will be done. As ultimately those nuclear missiles, those are the army of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Those weaponry, those nuclear missiles, those are the arms of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, according to the book of Joel, man. So the Lord is in control of those missiles, and the Lord gives them their marching orders. So the Lord controls the kings to give those missiles the marching orders, man. Fire them off, man, in due season, man. Though it tarry, wait for it shall surely come. But we have to understand the due order of the prophecy. Chip, famine of the world, chip, economic collapse, all these things. But guess what? All of them are interconnected, because we saw how what? The Strait of Hormuz, this war, Strait of Hormuz being blocked off, led to what? Economic turmoil, which the economic turmoil is still there. And guess what? They're saying what? This is going to implement a cryptocurrency more, because Iran's saying they're feeling to implement a tool more than likely to pass through the strait, and that tool is going to be collected in what? Cryptocurrency, man. First they said Chinese yuan, now they said cryptocurrency. But nonetheless, it's all leading to what? The de-dollarization, man. Which what? Leading to what? The collapse of the American economy, which really is the collapse of the global economy. Because once the American economy collapses, the dollar collapses, really the whole world fiat system collapsing, man. Gonna go to what? Digitization, cryptocurrency, man. Ultimately, really the chip, because the digitization of currency really leads to the chip. So we see how it's interconnected. We see how the war over there in the Middle East, in the Valley of Yehoshua, interconnects with the economic collapse. That's what you have to do. You have to interconnect these prophecies, man, and see how they all interconnect to work for the greater forwarding of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's kingdom, man. So nonetheless, don't let this piece of code, throw you off, man. Like, damn, discourage you, nah. Because guess what? This led to some great economic turmoil, man. And they very well saying, yo, we need a new system, push that new system more, that digitization, which is what? Revelation 13:16, even more so, man. Guess what? These different nations, they're more emboldened from a military perspective to come up against Babylon, man. They seen what? America didn't achieve their goal by taking all Iran, man. So fuck it, let's go harder, let's go harder in the military. So when that time come, we ready, man. Countries like North Korea, even countries as small as Cuba seeing this too, man. And saying, yo, okay, you know what I mean? But we know the focus is on the more bigger countries like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, you know what I mean? Pakistan, India, these different countries with nuclear capabilities. They look, even Turkey, these different countries with strong military, they see it as, okay, America ain't as powerful, really and truly as they say on paper, man. They have they have chips, they call it, chips in their armor, so to speak, man. But nonetheless, hey, keep your ears locked, your eyes peeled to the happenings over there in the Middle East. But not only in the Middle East, but everywhere else, man. Keep your eyes locked to the economic sector, man. What's going on in the markets, man? What's going on with this whole cryptocurrency situation, the digitization, what's going on with the oil market, so on and so forth. As everything is interconnected. The chip, World War III, famine of the world, economic collapse, all of these prophecies are interconnected. But ultimately, we know this whole piece of codes in the long run, which the long run really, Lord's will is the short run, is not gonna stand, man. It's not gonna stand. This is just the Lord doing his thing, how he sees fit, in order for his prophecies to come to fruition in a beautiful harmony. And it is beautiful how it's coming to pass, man. Because we saw last June the first war, and we saw the second war right now, man. The second phase right now of that war, man. Next is what? Third phase. Lord's will, the last phase, man. Nonetheless. Hey, but with that, hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Again, to say all praises be to Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakapadash. The honors to the apostles, those of Kwanyam, a great millstone who do rule well. Shalom to the elect, Kwame, Sha'Allah, Abad Babal.